Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It's time for my Superstore recap. So, of course, Superstore never disappoints. It was a super funny episode tonight because apparently Bo was working at Cloud9 now, and we haven't seen him since last season. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, is he seriously going to get past the hiring process? I mean, Bo's thought process is just bizarre. Like, even the questions that Glenn was asking him, he Glenn's like, "Why do you want to work?" He's like, "Oh, for the money, yo." And Glenn asks, "Where do you see yourself?" And he's, "Oh, I see no rules, a free government." I'm like, "Oh my god, just shut up, Bo." And Glenn apparently hires him, and in the break room, he wore a shirt that says "F you" on it. I'm like, how is he able to get away with wearing that shirt? I mean, I would think that's an inappropriate shirt to wear to Cloud9. So basically, the whole episode of dealt with Bo at work, and Cheyenne's worried that Bo is gonna mess up somehow, and rightfully so because we know how Bo is. And Bo was kind of goofing off the pharmacist, and I find the pharmacist annoying as hell. So Bo and him, yeah, they shouldn't be together. Um, Mateo actually had the impossible task to train Bo, and Bo wasn't interested in being trained. Bo just wanted to talk on I think it was the walkie or the telephone mic, and he said, "Yo, bitches, what up?" I'm like, oh my god, he's like this guy's gonna get fired by the end of the day. And he actually, at one point, goes up to the security system where Dina is, and I'm like, oh my god, he's really gonna piss Dina off here. The scene's gonna be funny. But he was actually interested in the security system, and Dina was fascinated that somebody else was fascinated in the security system. So it wasn't shown, but I'm gonna assume from watching it that Dina let him up there with the security cameras, which I think is a stupid idea. But Cheyenne starts thinking that she needs to trust her boyfriend more, and apparently she was wrong because apparently Bo was hiding underneath the toilet papers and goofing off all day. So Cheyenne confronted him. He's like, "Don't you realize this could get us fired?" And Bo says how he can't work here, and then he ends up quitting, which I'm surprised because I didn't think he'd make it an hour at Cloud9. And he says, "Oh, I'm keeping the vest," and Dina's about ready to run him down, saying, "No, you're giving that back." And he's like, "Chill out, I'm just taking it off." And he's like, "Just kidding," and kicks these baskets over, and he says, "Later, bitches." I'm like, thank God Bo's gone because he was just an awful employee. Also, what happened is with Jonah and Glenn. Jonah at the beginning of the episode apparently had breakfast with Glenn's daughter Kristen, and they're all wondering, what does he mean by breakfast? Because it's 6:30 now, the start of their shift, and they're all saying, "Oh, is it?" They said, "Oh, Jonah said he got breakfast at the gas station," and they're like trying to figure out what gas station's open this early, and Glenn's too naive to realize that Jonah and Kristen had a one night stand. So, Jonah reveals to Amy and Garrett that he's always got along with his ex girlfriend's dad, so he wants to try to do the same with Glenn, so maybe he'll approve of him dating Kristen. So they go out to lunch together, and it's really awkward. Apparently Glenn's never had Mexican food, and that's just bizarre. I mean, who's never had Mexican food? And because Glenn wanted a hot dog, and then he wanted a hamburger, so, well, actually, scratch that, he wanted a Mexican hamburger. And Jonah met him halfway and ordered him a quesadilla, but then Glenn wanted the Mexican version of a churro. I'm like, seriously, this guy needs to expand his taste buds more. So, Glenn's kind of giving Jonah preferable treatment, but he's trying to, like, work around that so the other coworkers won't be mad. Like, he, puts everybody's names in a hat, which is probably just all Jonah, to, win tickets to a baseball game, but he's actually wanted to take Jonah. And Glenn is getting along with Jonah so well that he wants to make Jonah his own assistant. And Garrett's like laughing at the fact that he looks like Glenn now and has this tie on. I'm thinking, oh, this is a mini version of Glenn. But Jonah's starting to get very annoyed by Glenn, especially when he follows him into the bathroom while he's using the urinal and is just talking about him being his new assistant and all. And finally, Jonah says to Glenn, I don't want to hang out with you, which obviously, hurt Glenn's feelings, but Jonah explained to him that he wanted to hang out with him, so he'll approve of him dating Kristen. And all Glenn wants is Jonah to be honest with him, and Jonah says he'll be more than happy to do that. And he asks Jonah, did you guys really have breakfast at the gas station? He's like, yeah, Glenn. And he's like, I thought so. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so naive, but it's so funny. Then Glenn actually hired a new assistant, and he actually looks exactly like him. Also what happens that there was some leftover pictures in the photo lab, so Amy and Garrett are trying to figure out who they belong to. So they're thinking that it's a former Cloud9 employee because Amy recognizes them. So they're looking up these people online that have worked there in the past, and apparently they're either in jail or doing meth. So yeah, Garrett's really happy to do anything to get away from work, so he's happy to do this little project. And Amy takes it to the extreme and has like this whole chart going on in the break room, and Garrett suggests to blow up the pictures to try to see what they can analyze, and they see that it's weird that there's a lot of rich items in there, or fancier items, I should say. And they're wondering, why would a Cloud9 employee have fancier items? Turns out that it was actually the Cloud9 model that you see all throughout the store. So Amy and Garrett feel really stupid at the end of the episode, but it was so funny trying to watch him play detective there. But at the end of the episode, we see that Glenn gets this message that he needs to lay off 10% of his staff. So yeah, I'm betting that's going to follow over into the season finale. I'm wondering if this means that some of the cast members will be leaving or what. And I'm trying to think in my mind which Cloud9 employees are going to stay and which are going to go, or will Glenn stand up for his employees and want to keep all of them? Because that sounds like something Glenn would want to do. So tonight's episode was seriously funny. Bo at Cloud9 was just hysterical. I mean, he said his ultimate goal there was to get 5 Gs and just leave. And Mateo asked Myrtle at one point, you've been working here for 20 or how many odd years Myrtle was working there. And she said, how much money have you saved? And she says, 900. When I get to 1,000, I'm going to California. So, Bo was oblivious to the fact how little he gets paid there. In fact, at one point, he actually complains how little he gets paid there, how little everyone gets paid for all the hard work they do. And I'm like, well, welcome to the real world, Bo. So I'm hoping we get to see more of Bo. I mean, not working at Cloud9, but his scenes are funny. So I'm hoping we see more of Bo and Cheyenne together. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with these layoffs. So I hope you guys enjoyed Superstore tonight. If you guys want to check out Superstore, it is on Thursdays, 8 p.m. on NBC. I hope you guys enjoyed my Superstore recap. And until next time, stay regal and have a heavenly day.